and welcome to the Pasha Music Network. I am Alfred Surenyan, and thank you for joining us today. And today what we're going to be doing is doing the instructional half of this channel. So today what we're going to be talking about is GarageBand and how to create a simple song. But before we do that, please go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. The more subscriptions, the better it is for the channel. So please go ahead and smash on that subscribe button and click on the like for this video. So on with the episode. So GarageBand. GarageBand is basically a simpler version of Logic Pro. When Apple first bought Logic Pro, because it was already owned by another company, they decided to create a more simpler version of it for everyone to use, and it comes free with the Mac computers. And this has been the same thing at the beginning of the iMac back in the early 2000s. It has developed and has become a really great, powerful digital audio workstation for the beginner, but also professionals have used it as well. Today what we're going to do is, this is great for the beginner who doesn't know anything about GarageBand and they really want to learn about it. So this is kind of like the basics on creating a song. It's not like a detailed video, but just about how to create the framework for a song using the arrangement track, which is a really nice feature that GarageBand has that Logic actually does not have. Logic has its own version of it, but it's a little different. So now, before we get into talking about creating a song in GarageBand, the first thing that I would like to talk about is the equipment. Equipment is very important and a necessary part of a professional recording studio. Whether it's going to be your project studio at home or if it's going to be in a professional setting. Now this is more like what I'm going to show you is setting up in a home studio. So there are a few basic things that you need. So let's go ahead and take a look at those before we dive into creating a simple song.
The main equipment that is needed in a recording studio, whether it's going to be in a project studio in your home or in a studio, is the digital audio interface. This hooks up your computer to all your equipment through USB. There are many different models and makes of a digital audio interface. They range in size and as well as prices. They can go from anywhere from $150 to $2,000. The Scarlett, as you see here, is one of the lower ends and it's a very good model. So this is a really good one for somebody who is just starting out. There are also audio interfaces that actually hook up MIDI instruments to the computer as well. And those are pretty much more recommended, although the Scarlett does not do that, but there are other models that do. The microphone is an important element to recording, and the type of microphone that you get is going to be extremely important. The best type is an XLR microphone, which is what is hooked up to an audio interface. XLR has a lot better sound quality than a USB microphone would have. And that is why we always use an XLR in professional audio recording. There are two different types that you can select. There is a dynamic microphone, like as the Shure SM58. These here are mainly for live recording, but they can also be used for in-studio recording as well. They're very indestructible, they're very low in price, and they're extremely good in any condition. However, in a studio, you probably would like to have a condenser microphone. These here are the most delicate microphones that you can ever find. They pick up every little sound in any very direction. This here is going to be probably your first choice, an XLR condenser microphone. Now these can become very pricey. They can go from anywhere from $200 to $2,000. The higher priced ones are of course the better quality ones, but the lower ends are pretty good too. To get the most out of your studio is to having a monitor speaking system. These monitors are at a professional grade, whereas to the other types of speakers that are made for computers or internally into the computer is not as good quality. And the audio interface has a certain section there where you can hook up these monitors to your computer and you can hear a really good quality balanced in order to do your mixing as well as balance. The final and the most important thing that you want to have in your studio setup are a good set of headphones. The headphones are really important for two reasons. Number one, while you are recording, you do not want to have your monitors turned on. Otherwise, you will have feedback. So while you're recording, you want to be able to monitor the sound with headphones. And also, when you are mixing and when you are doing a lot of like really detailed work, the headphones become really an asset. So having these is going to be an extremely important part of a studio.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the outline for our song. I've already launched GarageBand here, and it already shows me to select a new project. So I'm going to select a new project. Choose it. And when it first launches, it gives you 4 different selections. It gives you MIDI software instruments, a drummer track, a microphone or a line of audio track, or a guitar track. But for now, we're going to create a microphone or a line track. So let's create that track. And when you first open it up, it shows you the smart controls on the bottom. If you don't want to have that around, you can go up to the menu bar and go to View and Hide Smart Controls, or you can press B. If you press B, it will open it up or close it up for you. So that's our first thing. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create our outline. And the way we're going to create our outline is with a arrangement track. And the way you're going to get your arrangement track, it'll be on the very top, is you go to Tracks under the window and click on Show Arrangement Track. And your arrangement track will pop up. And it'll give you a little plus button. Now remember, in a song, it traditionally has an introduction, it has a verse, a chorus, a verse again, a chorus, a bridge, back to the chorus, and then the outro or the ending. So those are the ones that it's going to show you in the selection. So when you first click on the plus, it'll give you an 8-bar intro. If you want to make it longer or shorter, all you do is drag your pointer, and you can make it shorter if you want to, or longer. So we'll just make a 4-bar introduction. Then we're going to click on our plus button again, and it's going to give us another 8 bars, and this will be for a verse. So we'll have an 8-bar verse. Now we're going to go and create our chorus section. Click on it, and it will automatically give you the chorus. And that'll be another 8 bars. And then we're going to press the plus button again. And this time it's going to give you the bridge, but you want to go to your second verse, which is almost, identical to your first verse, musically speaking, except for the lyrics. And you just go and over the top of the word bridge, and then the selection will show up, and then you can click on verse. And then you have your second verse. Then you click on the plus again, and it'll automatically give you chorus. So we're fine there. And then we're going to click on the plus again, and oh wow, it'll give you the bridge. And then after the bridge, you want to go back to the chorus again. Remember, songs have this pattern. It'll go to the chorus before it ends. Now it's automatically showing you the outro, but we want our chorus, so we select for our chorus. And then after we've selected our chorus, We can do another 8 bars of chorus if we want to as we fade out, or we can click on the plus and then we can create our outro. So now we have our outline for our song. The thing is that these are the traditional names of a song, but let's say you as a songwriter, you have your own little selections or sections. You can go and you can rename it to whatever you want. And if you're doing something classical, which has, of course, a sonata form, or if it's going to be an ABA form or something, you can do the same thing there too, where you could change it to whatever you want to name this arrangement section. So that is our arrangement. Now that we've looked at our arrangement, let's go ahead and start building our song. All right, so now I've loaded up a simple song. This file is called Simple Song, and I have 2 tracks already with some of these arrangements there already. And I have a drummer track, which is a specific track. It's not MIDI, it's not audio. It is something that Apple, GarageBand, and Logic Pro both have, where you can create a drummer track. So I created this drummer track to go along with this guitar audio. This guitar audio was actually recorded by a friend of mine, and I'm using that. So this is a compliment of a guitarist friend of mine who also plays in my orchestra. His name is Hawk. Anyway, so thank you very much, Hawk, for that. Let's listen to a little bit of this. So it's our introduction. Go to our chorus, and then so forth. Now, the interesting thing that you see here is that at the end of each of that drummer track, it gives you a little fill. This is something automatically that is done. If you go to the drummer track, you could actually see all of the different types of things that you can do with it, where you could change it and you could fix it all up and everything. And you can create all different types of it. Songwriter, rock, different types of drummers here and everything. So I've already created that just so that we can save some time here. Now that we have our drummer track and we also have our guitar track, well, we're going to need a bass. For the bass, what we're going to do is we're going to use Apple Loops. Apple Loops is something specifically that comes with GarageBand or Logic Pro, which are these little audio or MIDI clips that you can add into your music. These are public domain, royalty-free music clips that you can use in anything that you want to use. And the way you can select that is on the top right corner. You click the little loop, and then your loops will show up. It takes a little bit for it to load up. And there we go. So we got all of these loops. Now, interesting enough, everything shows up. So what you want to do is you want to search for what you want to create. So in the search menu, I'm going to put the word bass. And when I put the word bass, it comes up with every single loop on bass. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the first selections here. Plucked rock bass. Let's listen to a little bit of this. My picture's in a little way here, so let me move myself up. I'm going to move myself up into this corner for now. Sounds good? If you like it, then we're going to go ahead and use that for our introduction. And all you do is drag it, and as you drag it, it will create a track for you. And there you go. You've got your bass track. Now the thing is, that's only a 2-bar, but our introduction is 4 bars. What you can do then is you could expand it. The way you expand it is you take your pointer and you go to the top of the audio clip, and a little circle arrow shows up, and then you can drag it and you can make it larger, and then it will include it in the next two bars. Let's listen to this a little bit. There we go. Now let's go ahead and find a bass for our verse. And for our verse, we're gonna let's listen to bass, plucked bass 8. That sounds good. Let's go and use that one. So we're gonna drag that and put that right at the timeline of where it begins with our verse. And this one is, looks like it's only 1 measure long. So we're going to extend that all the way through our first verse. And now we're going to look for a bass for our chorus. Let's scroll this over and let's listen to another one. Let's listen to number 2. Not quite what I want. Okay, now we have plucked rock bass 3. Oh, that kind of sounds nice. So why don't we go ahead and use that one? And that is 2 bars long. What you're hearing in the background is my cuckoo clock. That's kind of interesting. I have to kind of move it around whenever I'm recording. So now you're going to go ahead and put that where it's right at the beginning of measure 13, and then extend that as well. So you now have your bass for your chorus. Now, the thing is, our verse is going to be identical. The guitar part that Hot recorded is identical to the verse. So what we're going to want to use is we're going to want to use the same bass that we used for our verse. So we're going to go back and we're going to drag number 8. And we're going to extend that to include it in our verse. Now our chorus again comes up. Our chorus was number 3, bass number 3. And we're going to do the same thing there. Drag that and drop it in and extend it. Okay, so that is pretty much what we have here. We can go and close the loop. The next thing that you want to do is save. Whenever you do something to your files, always save, because you never know what might happen. All right, so we've got this song that we have our drum, guitar, and our bass. What we want to do is, it kind of looks a little bland. Audio is always going to be blue, MIDI is going to always be green, and the drummer track is always going to be yellow. But the thing is, it really looks bland, and when you've been working for a long time, this could really all kind of mush together and look the same. So color coding, which is something that I've always emphasized, is very important. Let's go ahead and select our drummer track. By the way, our drummer's name is Kyle. And then we're going to go to View. Actually, yeah, View. And we're going to look for our, let's see, it's not under View. They keep changing these things around. Okay. When it updated, they moved the color track to under tracks. So it's now a track. Okay, that's very interesting. So we're going to select Assign Track Color. And our color palette comes up. So we're going to select all of our drummer track, and we're going to change the color. We're going to change it. Now, the thing is, there is no set on the colors, but for you personally, you might want to create your own kind of set on colors. Personally, I don't set it to everything being the same color, every file, every project, I do something differently because of all my projects are always going to be a little different. So for now, let's go ahead and put the drummer track in green. Okay. Then we're going to go to our guitar track, and we're going to change the color of that to red. So see how already it looks very different? For your eyes, it will be really good. And then for the bass, let's go ahead and choose a different color for the bass. For the bass, let's use mustard. I call it mustard because it looks like mustard. All right, so we have our color coding for our different tracks. And it really, really helps a lot. Now, on the arrangement, you could also color code that too. The introduction, you can color code a specific color of its own. Let's go ahead and do that. Purple. Verse, we're going to do the verse in orange. We're going to do the chorus. Let's do the chorus in blue. Actually, let's do a little different shade of a blue. No, we'll just keep it there. Okay, and then the verse again, we want to use the exact same color that we used before, just because it's the same thing coming back again. And the chorus, we will use the blue again. So there you go. You got all of these color coordinations that really makes it really easy for you to see everything. Remember, you're going to be working hours and hours in the studio, and you want to have that color coordination. All right, so the next step that you want to do is record your vocals, okay? For your vocals, what you're going to do is you're going to create an audio track with microphone input. So you go up to the top of the track list, and you're going to click on the plus, and your selections will show up again, and then you're going to click on microphone audio or line. They're both the same thing. Create the audio track, and now you have an audio track. It actually opens up that smart control automatically every time you do it, and it also opens up the effects and all of the other nice juicy things to, make it more wet. We'll talk about that in just a moment. So once you've done that, you're ready to record your vocals. Now, remember this, when you are recording, you want to make sure that your monitors are turned off. If your monitors are not turned off and you start recording, you're going to get feedback. And that's a no-no, of course, right? Because of that, sound is going to be going and interfering with each other. If you notice that when you have two smartphones next to each other and you get that weird sound, that's that feedback, and you'll get that same thing too. So that's how audio works. So you want to either turn your monitors off, lower the volume, and put your headphones on. So while you're recording any type of audio track, you want to have your headphones on, and you want to record it that way with your microphone. All right, so that's what you're going to do when you set it up. And after you set it up, you're going to click on Record Enable. When you click on Input Monitoring, that's Record Enable. That way you're going to hear it. Okay? Right now it's not working the right way because of my screen recording doesn't work with the audio interface, so it's going to give you that weirdly weird sound. So we have that, and once you press that, you press the R button on your keyboard, and you're ready to record, and then you can start recording your tracks. After you record your tracks, now you're going to want to do a little mixing. That's where these smart controls come in. Smart controls, you can do compression, EQ. You can go to a certain EQ graphics, and you can do it that way if you want to. You can use the master or any other way. Or one thing about Logic and GarageBand is they have these presets that you can go through. For voice, you can create any of these other sounds that it's already set for you, like 60s vocal chorus, bright vocals, telephone vocals. So you've got all of these different types of sounds that you can use. You can do the same thing for your guitar track. Okay, for the guitar track, you actually have effects just made for guitars. Or again, you can use your smart controls and you can create it that way. So after you've done that, you got your song and you're ready to share it. And when you share it, it doesn't bounce in GarageBand. What it does is you go to the share under the window and you can do it sharing export song to disk, burn song to CD. It still has that. Obviously, we don't have CDs anymore these days. You can email to somebody, you can airdrop it to somebody, or whatever you want to, or project to GarageBand for iOS. Because remember, GarageBand also comes in for the iPad and iPhone, and you can send it to your iPhone or iPad as well. And there you have it. You have all the basic elements of creating your simple song.